First, to demonstrate client application execution, I'll do this with ADT. Put Autotest Manager into application client mode. Select a bundle, and I will select 2 messages. The run test button is now enabled, and the number of test cases to be run is totaled at the bottom here. If I now run the tests, a new window appears, which is the collected standard output from the instance or instances of TKW which have been executed in order to process a test run. Here it's saying there's an action required and asking me to send in a particular message to a particular URL. I have a session of TKW already set up, and I'm going to take the first message, place it into the transmitter source directory, and transmit it. We should see on the standard output that it's accepted that. A further action is required for the second test case which was selected, and this is for the cancel transfer patient update master. Again, I'll go back, take the old message out of the source directory, put the cancel transfer patient update master message into the transmitter source now, and transmit it again. It's now said that test bench is run to completion. We can close the standard output window. Any errors or warnings will be shown up in red. And now we've got Autotest Manager with the number of passes and fails and a hyperlink to the test report. We can now click on this hyperlink, and here we have the summary with a timestamp, a test case summary with the transport, the domain, what bundles were selected, and the application type under test. We have a representation of the test case selection table from the Autotest Manager. So this here is the same as this here. A summary of the pass and fails, and the detailed results. Within each of the results, we have a schedule name of the test case, timestamp of each execution activity, a test reference with a hyperlink leading to the message log for this test. We have a pass-fail indicator, execution comment, which gives more information, and a validation report hyperlink per test case, which is there. If we open up the message, there's the incoming message, and then the response, and the validation report is the validation run over the incoming message. 24 checks, 24 passes here. All the test evidence for each test run is stored in its own folder within the Autotest directories. If I go back to the Autotest Manager directory, if we go into the Autotest, each test run is assigned a directory named after it, here. Within this directory are a number of subdirectories, one for each of the test cases selected within Autotest Manager. The automated test report is saved here as test log. That's the one we've just been in. Within each of the test case directories there are 5 standard folders. So in this instance we have the simulator saved messages, the cancel transfer patient master. There is nothing in the transmitter because we've only been working as a host. Nothing similarly in the transmitter source. The message for validation is in there, and the validator report is in the validation report directory. Similarly, Autotest Manager can work as an application host. Here, if we change the application type under test to host and choose a correspondence pattern, ambulance bundle, I can select a number of tests to be run, and now I'm going to set up running a correspondence simulator so that Autotest Manager has something to send messages to. That's separate and started up there. Now we press the run test, and those particular tests will be executed, transmitting the messages from Autotest Manager to TKW running in simulator mode as a system under test. Here we can see that 2 messages have been sent and several tests have been run on each, and it's run to completion. Close that down. We can see 2 passes, no fails, and there again is the test result log, which we can click on. Again, we can see that the transport domain bundle application type under test have been recorded, and there are the 2 test cases which have been executed. And down here again we have links through to the test log, pass-fail status, and a comment, and at the bottom a validation report. So here's the message which has been sent from Autotest Manager, and at the bottom is the response back. And if we like to look at the report, the validation report, 2 files have been validated, 29 checks, 29 passes. And as this is a correspondence message, we've got the response, which is validated, and the send infrastructure acknowledgement, which has come back from the client. If we scroll down, there's the second message. And again, if we open up the validation report, same thing again. Again, if we look at the directory structure behind that test, we can see under the Autotest directory we now have a second Autotest Manager run with a directory for each of the test cases. The transmitter sent messages has the messages which were sent from Autotest Manager to the system under test. The simulator saved messages have the messages which have been sent to the Autotest Manager, Send Business Act and the Infrastructure Act. The messages for validation have been placed there, and the validator report, as we've just seen. When selecting the test scenarios for a client system under test for Send CDA bundles, it should be noted that there are only positive test cases present, like here. The negative test cases are executed in a different manner. In order for suppliers to exhibit correct response behaviour to incorrect inbound business or infrastructure acknowledgements, the domain client negative acknowledgement tests should be chosen. This will proactively transmit business acknowledgements to the system under test. This covers negative tests for correspondence, HSCI, telehealth, and child screening. The following diagram shows the messaging transaction for send CDA messages. A rerun of a previously executed test run is possible. This is done from the command line. Firstly, we need to identify the particular TST file that was created during the test run we want to repeat. Here we can see it's this one. We can then use the following command using Autotest. This is the path for the TKW properties under the Autotest domain, and here is the path of the TST we've just identified. When we execute this, we can see the same standard output that appeared in the separate window in Autotest Manager, but the Autotest Manager interface is not displayed. However, if we go back into Autotest Manager directory, into the Autotests, we can see there's been a further run executed here with a separate test log and subdirectories.